Marauders, welcome back to the channel. So the Husqvarna Norden Expedition needs crash guards for not necessarily the engine, but the upper body of the front of the bike. The upper body, I don't know, I call it a fairing, but it's not a fairing. It's really part of the body of the motorcycle. This would be a tank on a normal bike, but the tank is low on this motorcycle. So you can maybe rely on crash bars, which I have crash bars ordered for this metal ones. These plastic ones are pretty sturdy that came with it. You could rely on the crash bar and the heavy 1/4-inch aluminum plate around the fuel tank to protect the body of the bike if it fell over. I didn't want to take the chance because each one of these panels are $500. So I did something I haven't done in decades, and I actually had an account. I ordered, I'll tell you exactly what I ordered, Crosspro crash bars, an upper kit from eBay Motorsports, and the vendor was in England. The vendor was in England. I chose that. There's probably, I could have gotten it from 20 different vendors in Europe, Poland, and so on, and I chose England. The prices were all the same. Look at the stuff they wrap this in England. I've never seen this before. What is that, shredded cardboard? And I'm opening this up. I'm wearing Ducati apparel. I'm working on a Husqvarna. So I'm going to open this up. I really want to get the instructions out of this, and then we'll continue the installation. I'll take you through the installation of this. And I spent a lot of time searching for crash bars for this bike, and just there's not many. There's almost maybe two that may work with the Husqvarna Norden Expedition. It's that bash plate. There's probably more that will work with the standard Husqvarna, which is a great bike. Boy, these are light, guys. Probably a one-time crash use, right? Wow, the finish is really nice on them. So we have to mount this bracket. Gets mounted on the front end. And it comes up and under like that. So I'm going to try to remove one screw on one side, bolt that's in here at a time, because I don't want this one piece, this metal arm that comes off that holds up the fairing, to get misaligned. So I'm going to try to do one side at a time, at least get it threaded. So I have to remove that. And the bracket gets mounted, you can see that, like that. And the crash bars tie into that. What? Yeah, and that bracket, that arm did move. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, so this one's out. Let's put a little Loctite. I'm going to slip the bracket up and underneath. Well, I think I'm going to have to do the other side and just wing it and hope it goes well. So, because I can't, it's not going to be aligned. So this bracket is on. Little finagling to get the screw started. Not an easy spot, but that's on. And I'll put the entire assembly on before I tighten that up. So now I have to remove this 6mm Allen driver. I have to remove this bolt that holds, I believe, the fuel tank on. That came loose. I have to remove the bolt, but I have to reuse the bushing. And I believe it gets replaced with a 60mm bolt, I believe. And that went on pretty easy. So all this stuff I'm just gonna snug up. So that's just snug enough to hold it in place. So now I have to put a 15mm bolt tie this half to the, boy, it looks nicer than I thought. Looks a lot nicer than I thought, if you can see that. So I have to put a 15 millimeter bolt. Ooh, she's looking nice. And I'm just gonna get this snug. We'll just snug that in there like that. Tighten that up. Let's go put the Brett bar, remove the tank bolt on the other side, put the bar on. Boy, I like the way it looks. Boy, I'm liking the way it looks. Okay, let's remove this one. Again, we got to keep that bushing. Okay, let's go around here and put the 15 millimeter bolt in with the washer. Woohoo! I like it. Marauders, we're cooking with gas. I love the hardware that they get. You know, I should have shown you the hardware. It's hardened steel or stainless steel. It's very nice hardware. Now these, I want to say these are another cap head bolts that go in that join the two pieces together, the two bars together in the center. Man, I love the way the bar looks. My brother Phil said go black. You know what? I'm not going to put the washer on. I don't think it gets a washer. I think the directions are wrong. I think it sets in nice without the washer. Yep. Very nice. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take these off and put a washer on it. And I'm going to shut the camera off. You don't need to see the other side. The instructions are not the best, frankly. But this went on in less than an hour. It went on in less than an hour. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to, okay, this is going to drive some of you crazy. And I'm sorry. But these are basically, I think, bumpers like you would have on a boat. And this is an aluminum crash bar, which I like. It's very light. I like that it's light. And by the way, I don't know how many falls, how many drops this is going to take. I'm hoping it will be sturdy enough. You see it does move to keep anything from damaging these panels. But this is a bumper that goes on, and that's where they'd like to have it. And it bothers me because it's in front of the Husqvarna logo. I really don't like it by the logo. In fact, my favorite spot would probably be here. So I'm going to mount them here, and I have other ones that are nicer looking ordered. The hardest part, I knew the hardest part was going to be that bracket that goes on the frame. I knew that was going to be the hardest part, aligning that. And there's just enough room to get in there with tools. Just enough room to get in there with tools. So, and I think you guys will see when I'm done that this, you might not like where this is going, but it is the furthest out area on this bike, on this bar. So again, these are to protect the bike. And I'm looking at this that it is sacrificial, right? That's all I can do is look at it that way. Okay, so let me do the other side and then we'll do a walk around. Go through the tools that I used first. So this is a number 30 Torx. I use that to get the bolts that held the main frame bars to the triple tree mount, not the actual triple tree, but the main mount for the triple tree. So number 30 Torx, number four Allen driver, number 5 Allen driver, and a number 6 Allen driver, a 10 millimeter wrench, and a 6 millimeter wrench. And then of course I use this Husqvarna magnetic tool tray, which is so handy, a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, manual, and then cordless 3/8 drive ratchet with an extension on it. Of course, I always use Loctite. My engineer friend got me in that habit. And let's look at it. They really didn't tell you, you know, to leave things loose on it. I knew enough to do that. I'll give you the order that I torque things down. So I started off with the main bolt mounts that go through the tank, that hold the tank on. I tightened these up first. Then I tightened the two bolts that join the two halves together. The back piece is threaded, and I took those washers off. I originally had the washers on it. I took them off and put them on the inside nuts, where, if you can see it, I don't know if there's a good view, but up in there is the bolt, 15 millimeter bolt with a nylock nut on the back and washer on either side that hold the bars to that stainless steel member that gets mounted to the main frame of the bike up in here. So after I tightened this component up, the bars were tightened, then I went up top and tightened that up on both sides, and it's tight. Now this is aluminum. It does give. It's very light, which I wanted, but it does give. And then the bumpers, if you can see, where I mounted the bumper was the furthest out on the bar. So hopefully this bumper will hit first when it drops on the side. That will hit and get sacrificed and protect the bars. And I have nicer bumpers coming for the bike, and I'll show those. Now the reason why big reason why I wanted the bumper mounted here, I didn't like that any crash bar, hate to use that word, any crash bar covered this Husqvarna logo. I think this bike is so good looking that I didn't want to cover that logo, but I guess I had to put crash bars on it. And I thought this, if I mounted it up here, which is the way they advertise it, would distract from what was left of the logo. What is good, you can still see Husqvarna motorcycle on it. Thanks to my brother Phil, the Mustang. He has the Mustang that got stuck at the office. People said, how could he do that? Thank you to my brother Phil. We both agreed. I asked him his opinion to go with black so it would blend in with the black components. See the black paint there, the dark blue or black up here, the black accents on the body and the front, the black here, not to contrast with the white logo and the silver bash plate on the bottom. So it took me a long time. I looked at this for 3 months before I even bought the bike, and I think Backcountry makes a bash plate for the standard and crash bars for the standard Norden that I would have had to taken off this 1/4 inch aluminum bash plate and put on Backcountry's bash plate, which is really nice work that comes up into here. But I just thought this was just such an integral part of the Norden expedition. I didn't want to remove it. Another manufacturer that makes bash plates, I'm sure it's very good, might be TourTech, and I think they wanted to notch this bash plate to mount theirs. It gets mounted to the frame. So I assumed that this, if it gets dinged up, it gets dinged up. That's what it was made for. And I wanted something to protect these panels. Each one of these side panels, I believe the dealer quoted me $500 to replace it. And that's when I said I have to get something. So that's it. Let's hope I never drop the bike, but if I do ride it off-road, even on gravel, it could happen. So I think this goes a long way in protecting it. as does the bars, the mounting bars, which I may replace these if I go with Moscow Moto backcountry bags. These will protect it also, and I will put the stock bags back on it. But I think she looks really good. I'm going to shut the camera off and give you a walk around, just do a little cleanup. So I wish I could get one for my KTM EXCF 500, a foot for that kickstand, because that thing, I might have to replace the whole kickstand. It is just so small. So I got this from the Husqvarna dealer, bigger foot for the side kickstand on the bike. Wow, goes on pretty easy. So I'm going to put this on. You can see how dramatically, and it's actually very nice looking, dramatically increases the size of the foot from that to that, which is really nice. Give you a look. Let's put this on. That's her down. That's her up. One more thing to put on. This is a Joy, what is it called? A Joy Room phone mount for my phone, which they're not bad. It wasn't a lot of money. It's a little bulky. I think I'll upgrade for the Ducati onto the quad lock. But these wires drive me crazy. How I put up with it so long on the Ducati, I got to get rid of this knot of wires. So this is the quickest solution I came up with. Bought it off Amazon. I think I got 2 for $10. Plug it into the USB outlet on the dash. It can hang like this when it's not in use. And that's a lot neater, isn't it? And I'm sure a quad lock is much nicer. Give you a shot with my phone in it. So you can see it with my phone in it. Black blends in with the background. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. It flexes. When it turns and cables up, that's fine. That's all good. So this is what the Husqvarna looks like without the bags that came on it. I think it's sharp even without the bags on it. Man, and I use the bags for protection, and the storage is nice. But I think the bars, you know, not that any crash, well, I love the crash bars on the Duke. I think Ducati, Italian designers just run away with it. I think those are really nice. And you can see they give a little too, just like the ones on the Husqvarna. Have a little bounce to them. But, you know, they got a little give, I guess. These are very lightweight. I'll show you the Husqvarna. There she is with the bags on it. Again, the black. I think I didn't want to detract from the color of the bike, the white color of the bike. So that's why I went with black, and I think it was a good choice. And I'm happy I kept the stock bash plate. Look at the front. Marauders, that's it. Please consider liking the video, sharing it with a friend, and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate your support. That's how YouTube creators keep track. I think she came out well. I have some more stuff ordered for the bike, and she's a good looking bike. Really happy the way that crash bar turned out.